Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have a dual function here in that I happen to be a member of the board of Forum. I'm also a county councillor and vice chair, as it happens, of the council this year. And Carmel has me in there in the council promoting her cause and your cause. And we have made the council aware. We have, in fairness, the only one to date that has brought this agenda, if you like, to Galway County Council has been Carmel. And with her work, with all of you, you know, it's been amazing. But we have to be cognizant of the fact now that we're in Galway West, and that the largest part of Galway West here in Connemara are Irish speaking, and it's my duty to deliver a few words through the Irish language just to facilitate and to, how would I put it, to include the local population, the Irish speaking population, to know that we intend and we are Támuid freastal or trí Gaeilge Homa. So just it's cos boala mi dosach Carmel of Volla socht an obair atá déanta aici obair Jonach agus tá sí dul ar lear gahiile lá tá sí obair ar gás seo. But it's cospar an cógáil seo ólas a harann agus a range ó tíre orpach eile maidir le taco na daine atá going to Dementia. Now that's basically saying that the people at this conference intend to draw experiences from Europe and from the experiences of people throughout Europe. Jenny sé scrúdú hahi na daine atá going to Dementia fud na Europa agus Jenny siad scrúdú na strateisi agus na móna atá an faoi láthair chun freastal a good riachtanis. We're going to examine the ways that are there and the services that are there to attend on people's requirements. Támuid brano mar a dúirt mé na tíre Europa eile, deisna a crothú chun an ólam a range, samplaí profile deachlachtais, béim a chur an ngá atá le freigartí cóchangailte, I balasí ceart a dhéanamh agus clachta bertais. Now, this is that we have to have a joined up response both in policy making and in practice. And I think from what Carmel has proven and from the experts that Carmel has brought in, I'm an amateur when it comes to this, although I have first-hand experience of dementia because I happen to have been reared with my grandparents, and my grandfather's sister was affected by dementia, and something poignant that I think of, and maybe it's hard to listen to, but she was taken down to Clare in about 1966 when I would have been about 6, and we didn't see her again until about 1972, and she had arrived to our home for the funeral of her brother, and she sat on the chair and she spoke to a neighbour who she hadn't seen for the 6 years. And she turned to him and she said, I know you. And she says, you're Paddy Clancy. That was Kevin Clancy's father. And the man was 6'6", and she just made a comment to him, they put plenty of manure at your roofs. And then she turned to him and she says, they tell me that Father Coleman is at home. It was the man we had just buried. And then she went back into just not knowing us again. And I experienced that at the age of 12, and it has stayed with me through it. And I have always felt an inner sadness for the fact that for those few moments, Aunt Mary, as I knew her, because I knew her so well down through the years, and we had visited her regularly in Clare as well, just you know, that you know, you're there for a while, you know, and it's so heart-wrenching because you actually have that hope that they'll stay with you longer, you know. And from that, I think it's probably one of the most cruel ailments, you know, that can affect people. Anyway, thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
Now, I'm just going to introduce you to Helen Rochford Brennan, and Helen is part of the Irish Dementia Working Group, and she's also on the working group, the European Working Group of People with Dementia. And Helen, I don't know, most of you will probably have heard her story, but for those who don't, she's just an inspiration, and hopefully you'll get a chance to speak to her at some stage during the day. Right, Helen.
Thank you. Thanks, Carmel. Good morning, everybody, and it's so great to see you all here. I decided today, Councillor, that I would come in my Sligo colours, because you never know, we might have an old game of football soon. So it's great to be here, and for me, I just want to, I'm not going to take up your time because we have such wonderful speakers here. I just want to say that when I was 57, I was diagnosed at the age of 57, 58, as having Alzheimer's, but it took me 5 years to get a proper diagnosis. And in the meantime, my husband and my son and my 4 brothers and my 4 sisters struggled with wondering, was I becoming mentally disabled or what was happening to me? So it was a long journey, and today, thank heavens, we have moved to a better place in terms of diagnosis, and we're continuing to move to a better place by all the work that's been done. I was lucky to be able to get involved in research through Trinity College, which led me to the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland, who gave me the strength and the empowerment to get out and do something and stop feeling sorry for myself. I'm not sure that I was ever that good at feeling sorry for myself. I think some of you here might know me from my other life, and I think that really helped me to be able to advocate for others. And I've always been passionate about whatever I've lived or whatever I've done in my life, whether it's about caring for people or whether it's for transport for people or women's rights, or I've always been passionate about social justice and human rights. So I've fitted in, I think, rather nicely. I don't know if with the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland, because I was ready to talk. So I became an advocate with the Alzheimer's Society, and through that, I became involved with Alzheimer's Europe. And I cannot tell you the joy it is for our families to know that we can do things for your children or your parents or your siblings, to know that you can find a place in the world again when you're lost in a very black space. And I think that's important to say that, that we need help, we need support, and we need somebody. Do I believe that rural Ireland is taken care of? Well, hell no, I don't. And I go from Clare to the top of Donegal and little across into the middle of the country, and I think, what's happening? We have one dementia advisor, I think. So I'm very grateful to the state for providing that kind of money, or do they? I don't know if they do. Pat will tell you later, to the Alzheimer's Society. We need more people on the ground. We need more work like Carmel is doing in making public awareness, and in particular for carers who are at breaking point in this country. So we need to acknowledge what's happening with more, and we need to get more support from our government, and we know work has been done. I met Carmel, as she said, in 3 years ago now, I think, and it was last year I was ill, and I had some heart issues, and my husband and son decided that they did not want me travelling on my own anymore. So I wasn't going to battle any more airports, or I wasn't going to fight for any more rights for people with dementia at airports on my own. I was going to have another voice with me, and Carmel kindly agreed to. And it's important that we get out there and we speak. But it's also important to remember, and I want to quote Mary Manning, who runs the National Dementia Office, there is no one group, there is no one person, there is no one organisation. We need all of us together to work together, and to work together for the betterment of people with dementia in this country. It's a very fast-growing illness. You all know there is no 100% diagnosis except for familial or for Alzheimer's. There isn't. If you have a familial, fine. If it's not, we might have, I often talk about what we might have in our brains. We might have amyloid, we might have plaque. Today it's my immune system. Tomorrow it's my blood. The next day it's something else. Can you imagine the turmoil of people trying to understand what is wrong with them? So we have to get this right. We have to work together. And I think if we can all work together and we can collaborate together, that it's great to be able to do this. And I think that the work that's been done here by Carmel as a carer, who took care of her mother to end of life, she has made an enormous contribution by being able to bring end of life to Europe, and to be able to talk about where the rest of us, our carers, can talk about, our support workers can talk about the day-to-day. Carmel can talk about what has happened and the lack of services for her mum, And that transcends right across Europe anyway, so we wouldn't need any differences. So I hope you all have a great day and that you get something from it. And if you walk away with one thing from here today of how we can improve the lives of people in rural Ireland, that would be great. And we have a very dynamic lot of people, let me tell you. But the first dynamic person I'm going to introduce to you is Dr. Diane Gov. And Diane is Director of Projects at Alzheimer's Europe. And they do an amazing job, let me tell you, trying to bring the voice of the person with dementia right across Europe. They're a very small team, a very, very small team. They do the most amazing amount of work. I often wonder, for the few people that are working in Alzheimer's Europe, how they can do so much. They take on so many great projects. Diane was awarded a PhD in 2013 for her research exploring GPs' perception of dementia and how these relate to stigma and a timely diagnosis. She has worked on a wide range of topics covering care, legislation, continence problems, advanced directives and social support. She chairs Alzheimer's Europe's ethics working groups, which have produced reports on assistive technology, dementia research, the portrayal of dementia, restrictions of freedom and ethical dilemmas. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the West of Ireland, Diane, Dr. Diane Goff.